Okay, so I've got my very basic as existing floor plan drawn, and now I want to start setting out the stairs before drawing the section. So I've got here well actually I've got the section open, but I'll go back to the floor plan, the ground floor, and you can see that we've got the existing stair shown there, which I'm going to draw, and of course it doesn't have any dimensions. And that's typical. Often stairs are not dimensioned in the way that maybe the walls and the other openings are. And it's because stairs often have standard measurements for things like the tread, and we can just assume those. So here I'm going to assume they're 250, even though a private stair can be 240. It's an older stair, so they're often not very deep, the treads. And so, again, I can probably safely assume 250. Often these days, they'll be bigger than that. So the minimum, again, is 250, but it's often a good idea if you can go higher than that. So here into layer properties, and I'll make a new layer and simply call it A stair. Oh, sorry, existing, I always forget, AX for existing stair. And another one, AX stair dash. So I'll make both of the layers yellow, since it's timber. AX stair dashed. So they're both yellow. Use any yellow colour you like. And then the line type for the dashed stair layer. See over here we've got line type set to continuous. So I'm going to click there. And then I'll probably need, well, you probably need to click load. And then I'm actually going to use one called hidden. Yeah, yeah. So you click the load button, so you need to click on the continuous line type option. Yeah. Not on the line weight. So then you click load after you've got the line type dialog box, and then, yeah, so make sure you find hidden, not any of these ones at the top. Because the ones at the top are for a different scale, basically. So the ones further down, they're set for the normal scales we work with. So again, here you've got hidden, and so it is a type of dashed line. It's just smaller than the one called dash. So that's now loaded. Now I again need to select it from this list before clicking OK. Hidden. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my layers made. Oh, I'm just going to leave them on default for now. So they'll both be 0.25, and that's fine. So then, so if it says 0.25, then, or if it doesn't say default, you can change it to 0.25, but if it says default, you can just leave that. And then I'll set my stair layer as the current layer. So I'm just checking the measurements. Okay, so now I want to start setting out my stair, and again, looking at the drawing, oops, not that one. Okay, so we can tell visually that it's centered within this space, and so that's obviously how we'll draw it. And then we need to know how many treads there are, maybe just to do some quick calculations and establish that center first. So you can see we've got 7, and then work stashed 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 treads, right, which means we'll have 18 rises, so try and remember that as well, but again 17 treads. And then we've got, again, 250 is the size I'm going to say the treads are. So you don't have to do this, but I'm going to use the Autocad Calculator, which is a handy thing to know. If you type CAL, enter, that brings up the Autocad Calculator, and I'm going to type in 17 times 250, which gives me this measurement 4250. Okay, so now I'm going to measure, just to see if my maths is okay, measure it from top to the bottom, and it is 6,900. So again, just doing some little calculations, calculate again, 6,900 minus 4250 gives me 2650, which means that would leave me 1,300 space at the top and at the bottom, which sounds about right to me. So it's always good just to do those little checks with your measurements. And so again, coming back to that measurement I worked out for the length of the stair, which was 4250. Now, maybe to set out the start point of my stair, I'm going to draw a line, just using the line tool, from the midpoint of this line on the wall there, and I'll just take that over to the right with ortho on, and then I'll click just to finish that line, and we'll delete that line shortly, but that's the construction line I'm just using to help set out my stair. I'll use offset now, so I'm going to use half of that distance, because 4250 was the length of the total stair, or the complete stair. I've just drawn from the middle, or where the middle should be, and so half of 4250 is 2125. So I'm offsetting 2125, and then I'll select my line, click above, and now I know where the stair should begin. Okay, so again, just checking the drawings, you can see here that that is starting inside the window, so I know I'm on the right track. And then I'll draw another line from the post, so just using the line tool again, and then I'm going to come up and just draw perpendicular to the new line I've just created. Oh, 1,000. So from the wall to the post should be 1,000. From which one? Oh, 2125. Okay, so now I'm just going to tidy it up a little bit using fillet. I can join the two lines, just to join them at a corner, and then again offset. This time, again, we'll look at the drawing. This time I'm going to put in the handrail, so I'm going to make that 50 mil. So again, with offset now, I'll type in 50 as my distance, select this line, and then click to the left. Now, this construction, exactly, yeah, it needs to be inside the post. Yep. 1,000 from the wall to the post, yep. And so then I'll delete this construction line, it's going to get in the way now, so we don't need it anymore, I can delete that. Okay, so now again with offset, I'll put in the tread depth, which I've decided is 250. So again, 250 is my distance. Now I'll select this line at the top, click below. I've got the first step done. but I'm going to go and then tidy that up a little bit before I do any more. So I'm going to select that line and just use the grips to bring it back. Now, there are faster ways of doing what I'm going to do next, but this way works. So I'm just going to show you first with offset. It still has the distance I used before, which is 250. So I can press enter to keep that, and then select that line for my step, and then click below, and then just keep clicking on each new line to offset them down until I've got 17. Now you might know, if you've been using Autocad for a little while, it will be much faster to use copy or even array, but it shouldn't take too long just to use offset to create all these steps. There we go. So there we are. So I'll just count those to make sure. Got 17, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So now again I'll use fillet to join this line at the bottom with the inside of my handrail. And then I'll do that again for the other side, even though really I don't agree with the way this has been drawn. I suppose that's okay, but really the stringer would probably go down there. So, well, maybe they'll just do it this way. It's nice and simple to draw it like this. So I'll repeat the fillet, and then, in fact, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'll make it even easier for you. So I'll use fillet to join this line at the bottom to the handrail, the outside of the handrail. And so what I'm going to do that's different is I'm going to have a dashed line for the handrail down here as well. So 1,000. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little simple way of drawing a brake line. You'll see that there are brake line blocks that you can easily find in the library that we've got here, or you can download them. But it's a very easy thing to draw. You can see there that brake line. So I'll show you a simple way you can just draw them easily with the line tool. And again, so have a look at the number of steps there. So they've drawn it from the 7th step. So I'm going to do that as well. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. So with the line tool, this time I'll use the shortcut, L, enter. And then from the step there, I'll just then draw, and I'll keep it the way they've drawn it here. Yep, so we'll just go to the other step, or the other side of that step, sorry. So I'll turn auto off so you can see the line a bit more clearly. I'm just drawing diagonally across that 7th step. So now, zoomed in a bit just so you can see it more clearly, I'll use the line tool again. And this time I'm going to go from the midpoint, and then by eye, just take it at an angle that's slightly off perpendicular. So perpendicular, you can see there, is at a right angle to that line. It's going to go slightly to the left of that. There's no measurement for this, it's just done by eye. Yep. And then I'll finish it. And then I'm going to select it again and click on the mirror button. And this is really good practice using mirror actually. I'm going to start with the end point of that line as my mirror line, and then go down perpendicular to the first line I drew, the first diagonal line. So I've got a mirror image now. I'll select both of those lines and then repeat mirror, and then choose the bottom of that line, and then go across and choose the bottom of the other short line, and then again enter, and then I'll choose those two new lines and click mirror one more time, Yeah, I've done two mirrors. So I did mirror once to get this line, and then I mirrored these two lines to create. You've got to go perpendicular. That's it. Perpendicular to the longer line. Perpendicular. So move your cursor onto the longer line, the longer diagonal. Yeah. Onto that one. That's it. That's it. There. That's right. There. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now just to finish this off, I'll go to mirror one more time with the end of this line, and then this time I want perpendicular, and you can see it's not quite giving it to me because of my snap settings. Right, now you can get it to come up using some of those different snap options. And we can look at the tracking as well, which is the other issue, but there I might just turn on polar. Right, so you can see there with the polar option turned on, that will snap to an angle that's good enough. Again, this is not meant to be a perfect set of lines, as long as it looks the way you need it to. You can see there I've got the angle, just using polar. And this time I'm going to say yes, I want to erase the source lines. Okay, so that's an easy way of drawing a break line. And again, it's good practice with the mirror tool. So now using trim, I can choose these lines to remove them, and it's done. Again, to extend these lines, I can use the grips just to stretch them out, and it's just a visual thing. This should be fairly easy just using those endpoints there.
So it should stretch beyond the...
Yeah, actually you should go beyond the handrail, yep, because we're going to change that as well to dash. Okay, so we've got all the lines we need for the stair, but we need to then make the ones that are below that break line dashed now to finish it off. So there's just one new tool that I need to show you there. Under the Modify tab, you've got it's actually a new tool, the Break It Point option. So you need to click on the little down arrow where it says Modify, and you'll see Break It Point. So here under Modify, you'll see Break It Point. So now I'm going to select this line and then choose where I want to break it. So now you can see we've got a separate line. And I can choose the dashed line type. Now, if it seems small, it should. If you don't think that's too small, then you're not thinking the right way. Yeah, I've just selected that line, yep, just so you can see it's separate, and then changed, yep, that's right, dash. Now, the reason it's too small is because of the scale. All right, so if you have issues setting your line type size, and I know some people have been shown that you should go in here and fiddle with the global scale factor, that works, but it's not the best way. The easiest way to adjust your line type scale is simply to adjust the scale here in the bottom right where you can choose the scale. So I've set it to 1 to 50. I still can't see the change though, so I'm going to type RE, which is a shortcut for regen, enter, and there we are. Now we've got dash line. Exactly, it will. That's right, when you do your viewports it will, yeah, that's right, yeah. So that's actually probably a little bit large, so I'll just go back into the layers. Hidden is actually, like I said, it's a smaller dash, but because this is a small building, maybe we need to go to an even smaller one. So I'll change it now to Hidden 2. You don't have to do this right away, but just so you can see, one called Hidden 2 in the list is an even smaller dashed line. And with that, yeah, that's about the right size. There are no rules for the size of your dash as long as it reads well on your drawings. So then I'll do the same with this line. So again, remember this option. It's really the only new tool I've shown you. And it's a great new tool they put in, break it point.
Where was that on the story?
So you've got to click on the down arrow there,
Oh, under
which
one.
is modify. Yep. Oh yes, sure. Yep, no worries. Okay, so again, break it point. So I'm going to choose this vertical line now, and then choose where I want it to break. And now I can choose the dash line layer, and I'm simply going to put all of those step lines onto the same layer. Done. Okay, so I'll give you time to work on that, and then we can look at doing the sections, which hopefully should be the last major thing for that assignment.